Just eat 3 chicken balls.
Be quiet. Let's hear the Jesus story.
Okay, it says this. It says, okay, everybody actually be serious because this is going on YouTube.
Okay.
Okay, so anyway, it says, now Sarai, which was Abraham's wife, this is Genesis chapter 16, by the way.
That's
Now,
crazy.
I know, right? Now Sarai, Abraham's wife, bare him no children, and she had a handmaid, a slave, an Egyptian, and her name was Hagar. And Sarai said to Abraham,
Hold on.
what?
So the Bible, doesn't just like, like you just say the dude had a slave.
Yeah.
That's chill, bro. That's not chill.
It's back there. It was like way back.
Way back.
Way.
It wasn't like a whipping slave, it was like a house slave. Anyway, so, it says this. It says, Sarai said to Abraham, look now, the Lord has stopped me from having children. I beg you, please go to my maid and have sex with her so that I can obtain children through her.
That is wrong.
I know, right? So Abram listened to the voice of Sarai, his wife. And Sarai, Abram's wife, took Hagar, her maid, the Egyptian. After Abraham had lived
Did he
10
know
years...
it was wrong? Well,
Yeah.
it was back. Okay,
Anyway,
yeah.
keep going. It says, Abraham had dwelt 10 years in the land of Canaan and gave her to her husband Abram to be his wife. So he got 2 wives, and it says, he went in to Hagar, had sex with her, and she conceived. And when she saw that she had conceived, which means got a baby, Sarai did not like her very much anymore. She was jealous because Sarai couldn't have any kids. Yeah, so anyway, the Bible says Sarai was mad at Abram, and Abram said, your maid is your maid, so do whatever you want to her. So Sarai was really mad, because you see, basically what happened, this is the situation. Sarai couldn't have any kids, and she wanted kids.
Jordan?
And what's up, Jordan? Okay, anyway, so Sarai couldn't have any kids. She wanted kids, but she couldn't have any. So she had her Egyptian slave.
You're
She
talking
said,
about sex education.
It's
Yeah.
called Jesus story.
So
Be
anyway,
quiet.
So Sarai gave her maid, which was Hagar, to Abraham and said, Abraham, have sex with Hagar so that I can get kids. And like they can be my kids, even though they wouldn't be my kids.
Slavery.
So this is what Abraham did. And Sarai, after Hagar had the baby, Sarai was very angry and jealous. So they kicked Hagar out. Now, when she was kicked out, Hagar was very sad about what had happened. So the Bible says she was in the desert. Hagar was in the desert. And the Bible says the angel of the Lord found her by a fountain of water in the desert, by the fountain in the way to Shur, which is a place. And the Bible says, the angel said to Hagar, where did you come from? And where are you going to go? And she said, I flee from the face of my master Sarai, which was Abraham's wife. And the angel of the Lord said to her, return to your master and submit yourself under her hands. And the angel of the Lord said unto her, I will multiply your seed exceedingly.
What does that mean?
That means I'll make you have a lot of kids.
Yeah.
And it says
Damn,
that it will be so big that you will not be able to be numbered. And the angel of the Lord said unto her, behold, thou art with child, and you will bear a son, and shall call his name Ishmael, because the Lord...
Be
It's
quiet.
kind of close to
Mom! Ishmael, more like mom.
I know. Anyways, it says, he will be a wild man, his hand will be against every man, and every man's hand will be against him, and he will live in the presence of all his brethren. And Hagar called the name of the Lord that spoke to her, you God see me. For she said, have I also here looked after him that sees me? Wherefore, the well was called Bir Lahai Roy.
Okay, I'm confused.
Anyways, that's basically the story. So, what is the lesson of the story? So, let's sum up the story really quickly.
Then before you
what's up, Xander?
ask.
So, let's sum up the story. Sarai couldn't have kids. She wanted kids. She told Abram, have sex with my maid to get some kids, right?
Yeah.
Now, after Hagar got pregnant, Sarai was jealous. She told Abraham, kick her out, I mean. So, Abraham kicked her out. But when she was in the desert, the angel of the Lord saw Hagar and said, go back to your master and be kind to her, because you're going to have a son. God's going to bless you. You're going to have a lot of kids. And eventually, Hagar, she had this baby boy, and his name was Ishmael.
So the lesson is to not be jealous.
Well, that could be one lesson, but we're actually looking at a different lesson here.
Oh, okay.
Look at what, after the angel spoke to Hagar, what did Hagar say? Does anybody remember?
Oh shoot! Oh, it said that every man is.
No, that's what the angel said to her.
Shoot.
But this is what the angel said to Hagar.
No.
No, I mean, Hagar said to God.
Yes.
She said, you God see me. Because think about this. After Hagar was kicked out, she must have been very depressed, very sad. I mean, this was a rough situation, you
Just
know what
like
I mean?
me, you know.
It was
You
a
saw
rough,
that too?
it was a rough situation, you know what I mean?
Exactly.
Getting kicked out
Yeah.
from her master. But when the angel came back and told her, go back, you know, it showed that God actually cared about her. So she said, you God see me. And she called that place in the desert, she called it Bir Lahai Roy, which means God sees me in Hebrew. So this is a lesson in this. Whenever you're going through a trouble, you might say, God doesn't care about me. Because when you grow up in life, you might get such bad troubles. Who knows? You could even get cancer. You literally never know.
This is
Or your family could die. You never know. But
Or you
here's the
get
thing. Remember what Hagar said to the angel. She said, you, God, see me. Remember this. Because when you are in serious troubles, many people think God doesn't see me. God doesn't care. Yes, God does care. God does see. He looks at what is happening. The Bible says the Lord looks down from heaven. He cares. You see the moon up there?
Yeah.
God made that moon. This is how powerful God is. But that same God looks at you when you go through problems, when you go through struggles. Hagar, going through a very hard struggle. She was in the middle of the desert. She probably would have died. But the angel of the Lord came to her and helped her. And this is the thing. God sees you when you are in your need of trouble. And in your time of trouble, the Lord helps you. The Lord strengthens you. He gives you peace when you call on His name. You see? And when you live righteous in His sight. So one last place we will look at. And the book of Psalms, chapter 55.
Psalms is my favorite Bible
Book.
book. Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty fire. When you read the whole thing.
Okay, so Psalms chapter 55, verse 22 says this. Cast your burden upon the Lord, and He shall sustain you. Which means, throw the hard parts of your life to God, and He will help you out.
Go for it.
And Jesus said, come to me, all of you that work hard and are heavy laden, and I will give you rest. So that is what you should do. Remember what Hagar said, God sees me, because God helped her in her time of need.
Okay.
Thank you for watching.
That's it. This lake is hot. You just went through a block.